Today from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren Patterson.
How are you, John Trumbull?
Fine, I guess.
I didn't realize that first question off the rip would stumble you. I'm sorry.
Well, look, I mean, when someone asks me if I'm fine these days, that's like, you know, there's that immediate question of, okay, do you just want a quick answer so we can get into that? Or do you want a real answer, which is like, 10 minutes.
Right.
Like, look, we talked before we were recording. You know what's going on with me. I am probably going to get into that a little at the end of the podcast, I think, because I think it's probably the right thing to do, even though I don't want to do it. But we'll get into that. There's a little teaser for you, a little mysterious teaser for you. How are you doing, Darren Patterson?
I'm cool. I'm all right. Living a life, chasing a dream.
There you go.
Walking around in the 70-degree weather in November.
That's weird.
That's very weird.
That's weird. November's too late to have an Indian summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's odd. That's like, okay, is this part of the end times?
Yeah, is this how the world died in nice warmish beach weather?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably just a couple of years away from us like just bursting into flames as soon as we walk outside.
That's right. The end is nigh, everybody.
And I'm very pale, so that was essentially happening to me anyway. So.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're gonna look like the Human Torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Flame on.
Exactly. But hey, we're back here. We're plugging away. We got another episode of SNL to talk about. This week we're going to talk about season 48, episode 5, with Amy Schumer hosting for, I believe, the second time. And Steve Lacy is the musical guest. This is from November 5th, 2022. And go ahead, Darren.
Well, I was going to say, I believe this is her third time hosting.
Her third time. See, okay, obviously I didn't look it up before we started recording because, God, it's exhausting just to fact check every fucking thing, isn't it?
It really is. We should just make up facts like our local politicians do.
Hashtag alternative facts. And hey, as long as we're talking about fact checking and correcting stuff, I found out I said something wrong on the show last week. I said that because like last week, Cecily Strong debuted as part of the opening because she's back from California after doing Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe. And I said, oh yeah, I was surprised that her dog Lucy isn't there. Her dog Lucy is there with her on the couch next to her.
Really?
It's just the shots are so fast and it was kind of dark. I missed Lucy. So my bad. It's a black dog. Yeah, but she's fanning Lucy with like that little feather thingy. So
this is Lucy Erasure.
Yeah. So forgive me for doubting that you would ever not have your dog, or that you would ever have your dog on the show. That, of course, is a must for you, Cecily Strong.
Right, so, Cecily Strong. All apologies from us here at the SNL Nerds Podcast.
Yeah, just wanted to set the record straight. I mean, nobody came at me and was like, "Hey, you got that wrong." But I when I realized I got that wrong, I was like, "Oh shit, I said the opposite." Now I feel bad.
Okay. All right. Let's see. You owned up to it, and we learn, we grow.
Exactly. Is that so tough, politicians? When you're wrong about something, to be like, "Hey, my bad. I got that wrong. I'm going to try and get that right."
Is that so wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of politics, Cold Open.
Cold Open. This is on YouTube as President Biden midterm address. Cold Open. It's very wordy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's tighten that up.
Yeah. Well, but we've got. You guys are hearing this on Monday, so midterm elections are tomorrow on Tuesday the 8th. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote blue. I'm not even going to dress it up. Please vote blue. Because Republicans are just so fucking evil right now.
Yeah. It ain't good, man.
It ain't good. I like having a democracy. I'd like to keep having a democracy. So
it would be nice, dictatorship. I'm not too not a big fan of that.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a message from the President of the United States. We got James Austin Johnson as Biden. and he brings out a bunch of insane Democratic candidates who are not real candidates.
Right, because I think the way he pitches it is with these midterm elections coming up, they realize that the Democrats don't have the sort of wacky, out of the box type of
Right.
candidates that the Republicans have.
Right. We've got like kind of drier people. We don't have like an insane Herschel Walker or the
Yeah.
Carrie. What's the name of the lady that Cecily played last week?
Oh, Lake.
Yeah, Lake.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We have people who have experience and
yeah,
sound ideas.
and can speak in complete sentences, and it's not just word salad. So the premise of the sketch is the Democrats trying to match the Republicans for crazy. So they bring out Chloe as Marianne Williamson, who is the woman who had to deny that she was a witch. Um,
Yeah, we got Molly coming out as Guy Fieri, the mayor of Flavortown.
right. Marcelo Hernandez, one of the new folks, as Takashi 69.
Got Cecily as
Cecily comes out as Stormy Daniels, saying she's ready to reach around the aisle and get things done.
uh,
And he's like, I think you mean reach across. And she's like, okay, well, you do you. Um,
uh, we got Ego as Azalea Banks, who just kind of screams she's a witch and leaves. That
yeah,
was so baffling.
yeah. And then lastly, we have Keenan as Tracy Morgan, who's in charge of student loan forgiveness. And he's like, hey, you want your student loans forgiven? Rub my tummy.
Rub my tummy.
Kind of a mediocre Keenan impression, I thought.
Yeah, it was definitely a mediocre Morgan. It was just all
Yeah.
right.
I'm just like, okay, well, Keenan seems very amused by himself. So,
Keenan's happy. That's all that really
yeah.
matters.
Yeah. This was okay. It was at least shortish. It was only like 4 minutes 45 seconds. So
Yeah, it was. I feel the same. This was disappointing, but it was short. I mean,
yeah,
just because they just kind of went through all these impressions, and it
yeah,
was just like literally like with one person coming out saying one line and leaving, then one person coming out saying one line and leaving, and it was just kind
yeah.
of. It just seemed kind of sloppy,
I've
actually.
I've just I've just gotten very tired of the whole shotgun approach to the cold opens, where it's like we have to talk about every single thing, and
Yeah,
we have to do a rapid fire, and then everybody has to gather together and do a big group live from New York at the end.
yeah. No, I'm the same way. I mean,
Yeah,
especially when it's rapid fire shotgun like this, and the people don't really have anything to say.
yeah, yeah,
Like it's just like it was just Molly coming out as Guy Fieri screaming something something donkey sauce, and I was
yeah,
like, all right. And then it was just Takashi 69 coming out screaming no cap, and then leaving, and I'm like,
yeah.
all right,
I kind of wish they'd done maybe continued the thread that they did early on, where James Lawson Johnson's Biden says like, hey, right wingers do like come up with a lot of gay scenarios for people on the left. That's kind of sus.
yeah. Like the beginning of the sketch seemed okay, whereas him talking, like you
Yeah,
said, like him talking about how I guess people on the right coming up with the gay erotic fantasies for Paul Pelosi,
yeah,
and like how he gets bummed out that everybody talks about how hot Obama is, and
yeah.
then he's
And
like, "Oh, you
he
want
says, Google young Joe Biden and start a bubble bath.
that?" Actually
And
got a good little bit of applause break there. So I was like, "All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
th-
I mean, recognizing that he was a handsome man in his younger days.
yes." So I was like, "All right, it's
Still a good-looking older man. What
yeah,
am I saying?
he's a
This,
dashing
this,
young
by the
gent."
way, not the last reference to female pleasure in this episode. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Justify my love.
yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, it started off okay, but then it's like you said, it went into this rapid fire. Da da
yeah,
da 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 da. Oh, here's Azalea Banks going to say something now. Tracy Morgan's going to say like a sentence, and
yeah. The cold opens are so unfocused now; they're just very tough to talk about
yeah, very
without
much
without
so.
basically summarizing them. And I don't like summarizing sketches like almost line for line anymore.
I
So
hear you. But
yeah.
yeah, this cold open, I was like, well, it's not great, but it's short.
It's short, and I mean that's something. At least it's not 7 freaking minutes.
Exactly. So
So,
it's I'll give it that. It's
I'll
not
give
good.
it that. I'll give
It's
it that.
not good, but there's not much of it.
Okay, moving on, we have Amy Schumer with her stand-up monologue coming out to host for her third time, as you pointed out, stepping very gingerly to home base. I guess she had like really high heels on or something.
Yeah,
You don't usually see a host walk out slowly. Usually they just come running out. They're full of energy. She's just like little baby steps.
yeah, like stepping into a pool or something.
I know.
Just
She was like, "Oh, is the water too cold? Is it?
ooh.
Oh, I better, spread it up on my legs so I can gradually get used to it." Um,
Yeah, she gets
it,
it.
it had that energy.
No, she gets a hand mic as always.
Yeah, stagehand hands her the hand mic. I'm endlessly amused by the stand ups getting hand mics for whenever they host. I totally get it, but it will never not amuse me.
Without it, we are lost,
We are lost. We have no idea what to do with our hands.
like a deer in the
We are lost.
headlights.
Yeah, exactly. Um, she had a good line early on. She said, like, on final host before the midterm abortions, elections.
Oh,
Elections. I'm sorry. I don't know why that was in my head. I
yeah,
thought that was probably the best line of the monologue, I thought.
yeah. I thought that was a solid line. Then she went into some jokes about her recent pregnancy and
Hmm.
how she had a C-section. You know, the baby came
Yeah.
out the sunroof.
Yeah.
Um,
Wolverine, my fupa open is a sentence
that's
that she said.
that's a visual.
That's
That's
a
a visual.
visual. She also talked about how like having sex with your spouse is weird because they're part of your family. Like I can't go down on you. You're my emergency contact information.
Yeah, that's not bad. Uh, yeah, and then she went into some jokes about her husband who is on the spectrum, and
Yeah,
she talked about how I think that there was another term for it, but it used to be called Asperger's, but they don't use that term anymore.
it's autism
Oh,
now,
sorry,
but yeah, autism or on the spectrum is what they say
right?
now. Yeah,
Because they don't use Asperger's that term anymore because it's the person Asperger's has Nazi ties. Kanye.
yeah. Which I didn't know that was why we got away from that term, but okay.
Me neither. I had no idea.
Yeah. What'd you think of the monologue overall?
Overall, not bad. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure this is all stuff that's going to be in her, probably her next special or her special that's out now, or she's probably going to use a lot of these jokes on, or she did use these jokes during her tour.
Yeah, the monologue is credited to Amy Schumer, of course, with also an assist from Rosebud Baker, and I wonder what that involved. I like, does Rosebud Baker just like help her maybe trim it a bit and boil it down a little more?
Maybe
Because you have the time limits, so
that's true. Yeah, maybe to use it to tighten it up like a fupa.
who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I Something about Amy Schumer's vibe I find very off-putting now. She
Mm.
seems, and I've thought about this because I used to really like her, and I don't so much anymore, and I can't quite figure out why that is.
It seems like her. Yeah, maybe like it seems like her stand up or her way of her delivery kind of fit for a certain time frame. It doesn't really I don't want to say it feels old and stale, but doesn't. I don't know. I
Yeah,
kind of know what you
I
mean.
don't know. I don't know if I would feel comfortable saying time is passed her by, but yeah, maybe her style of stand up has gone out of style a little bit. I
Yeah,
talked a little last week after she'd been announced as the next host. Like I really loved her at first, and I was a fan of the first three seasons of Inside Amy Schumer, and then somewhere around the fourth season, it was like a switch went off in my brain, and like all the sketches just seemed to be about how hard it was to be Amy Schumer,
yeah, maybe that's it.
and she seems very satisfied with herself, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of comedians, like you could say about that about maybe Jesselnick or whoever, but
Yeah, well, I mean, Anthony Jeselnik, it seems more of a clear character. Like that's his whole thing. I don't know. Yeah, she can come off kind of smug to me at times.
yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe she's not as vulnerable as a comedian as you usually
Yeah,
like.
or not as relatable. Like or it's kind of like after somebody becomes a huge success and they're rich, they can't really relate to the common person anymore.
Cough, cough. Dave Chappelle. Cough, cough.
Yeah, yeah. There's an oh geez, we'll talk about that.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I have many thoughts.
We'll get there, folks. It was so funny last night on the Twitter account. We actually tweeted on about that from the SNL Nerds account within seconds of each other.
Yeah, like, as soon as I saw you did it, I was like, "Oh shit!" and I just like deleted it. Mine.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to
Uh,
delete yours. I mean, I thought it was funny, but I saw it and it was like literally within 8 seconds. And I just took a quick screen cap of both and it was like, when both of us tweet from the SNL Nerds account at the same time.
yeah, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, the well, what do you think, folks? That was for me, and Darren's was like, yo.
It's again, I've been thinking about that for. I mean, not like me retweeting the same thing
Yeah.
you tweeted, but like the host for next week. Oh boy, I got a lot of thoughts. I got a lot of
Why don't
thoughts.
we talk about it now? Why don't we talk about it now?
Do you want? I mean, do you want to? Well, let's. Do you want to finish up this the monologue part?
Yeah. What else do you have to say about Amy Schumer's monologue?
Nothing really.
Me neither, really. So I thought I'd smoothly transition to
I see.
Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Okay, so they announced for next week's show, it's Dave Chappelle hosting. He's hosted several times before. He seems to be like the go-to guy after we have a big election.
Mm.
Because like he hosted right after Trump was elected, and I remember that was a pretty good monologue. And he was like, "Hey, let's give Donald Trump a chance."
Oh.
That has aged like fucking milk because we didn't know. I mean, even the people who were scared and outraged and all that, we didn't know what a fucking dumpster fire it would be, and that like,
it was.
yeah,
It was like it was worse than my worst nightmares.
yeah, and then and he came back again. I think after Biden was elected, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, like I think the night Biden won it, and
Oh yeah, that's right, because they declared it on a Saturday. I remember texting you that day.
yeah,
Yeah, and we were like, "Oh, SNL must be frantically rewriting tonight." Yeah, because it took several days for them to call that election.
yeah, yeah.
So I get where they're coming from there. Like he's good with the post-election monologue stuff,
He is,
but
but
there's also the whole
yeah,
anti-trans stuff for the last few years, and it just seems so tone deaf for SNL to not to give him a platform again.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I think they're kind of doing it because they know. I think they know people who are still fans of his will watch it and tune in to hear what he's going to say,
Right.
and I think people who hate him will probably tune in and hate watch it, and
Right.
like just so they have something to angrily tweet about and put on social media, like look what this fucking guy said now.
True, true.
So
I mean,
it's
I saw plenty of people responding to the SNL Twitter post about Chappelle hosting. They posted up the note cards on the bulletin board like they do, and lots of people were just responding with a photo of Don Cheadle from when he hosted, where he wore a T-shirt that said "Protect Trans Kids."
yeah, no, I respect
Um,
that.
and yeah, hey, I think that's a great response, and I totally get all the criticisms. I really doubt that Chappelle is going to hit on trans stuff at all.
I mean, he might like
It's possible. It's possible. Maybe it's naive for me to say he's not going to do it. I mean, I'm
yeah,
sure the monologue's going to be 75% election stuff.
yeah. I mean, with Chappelle, he's such a wild card. You
He
don't
is.
know what he's gonna say, and like he is one of these people who like now I mean he has enough money to do and say whatever he wants, and he doesn't really have any bosses he's beholden to. Like
Yeah.
you can't threaten to boycott whoever he works for because they didn't really work for anybody. Kind of works for himself.
That's
So
yeah, that's
at this,
true.
so at this
That's true.
point he can say
I,
whatever he wants. He can
you
say
can you all you can do is like get outraged at the comedy clubs and theater venues that book him.
yeah, exactly. So like I do think he might say some more trans stuff just because he knows it'll piss off people, and just because he sees that as like a challenge, like oh you're trying to silence me. Well, well look out because big bad Dave Chappelle is gonna say what he wants because I'm the best comedian in the world. Blah blah blah. And like I could see him saying that. I could see him saying some jokes about like Jewish people too, because like after what's been happening with Kanye and Kyrie
Yeah.
Irving, like he could maybe see that as a challenge. He'll be like, all right, I'll just say some stuff about Jewish people, and like I can see he's really is like
Yeah.
can like a bit of a loose cannon, which
That's
sucks. Like
that's true. That's true. And also, I don't get why this is like an issue. Why this is like a ride or die thing for him and for J.K. Rowling. I don't
yeah,
like both of them are basically set for life. They don't have to worry about this stuff. Why do they keep doubling down on this?
I think it's because they see it as somebody telling them they can't do something, and whenever you get
Yeah,
told that you can't do something, that makes you want to do it all the more. For a
I
lot of
guess.
people,
Yeah,
like
especially with comedians, you find a
yeah,
lot of comedians who are just they like poking at that thing.
yeah, it is, and that's such a bummer because like that didn't used to be his thing really. Like if you remember, like I
Yeah.
used to be. I mean, that's why when I found out who he was hosting and Black Star, which is I'll get into that too. Like
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear what you have to say there. So
yeah. Well, I mean, when I heard Dave Chappelle was hosting, I was like kind of I I wasn't like if you had told me about this maybe like 5 years ago, I would have been like hyped for it. But now I'm not
yeah,
that hyped for it because Dave Chappelle, he used to be like he used to be a comedian I used to really look up to. Like he was very kind of thoughtful and empathetic
he
with
was
his
one of
jokes.
those guys you followed. You were like, I want to hear what his take on this is, whatever that thing was.
Yeah, and like
And like Louis C.K. was kind of like that for me too.
yeah,
And I since his whole scandal broke wide in 2017 during the whole first flush of Me Too, I've had a lot of trouble like revisiting his stuff.
yeah, because
I
like
haven't really looked at any of his new specials. I haven't really looked at much of Chappelle's specials in the last few years.
yeah, yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like I watched his last, not his last special, but the one uh before that, the Sticks and Stones, it is
Hmm.
not good. Like I don't know why no one had said that. Like his last few specials on Netflix have not been very good. Like as far like
Yeah,
I'm not saying as somebody who's all delicate woke snowflake or whatever who can't take a joke. They're not good jokes, and like I don't know
yeah,
why no one said that online. Everybody's because I guess because Chappelle has reached this level where he's like infallible now. Like he's reached this Emperor's New Clothes level where no one
yeah,
says his jokes aren't as strong as they used to be. They don't hit as hard as they used to because he's Chappelle. He's like God amongst men. Everything he does is amazing.
yeah.
Everything he touches turns to gold, and it's just not
Yeah,
true. His stuff
yeah,
isn't funny.
you can't really do that once you become an establishment person, and you don't get as big as like Chappelle or hell and Amy Schumer
Yeah.
without becoming the establishment to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. And like his style has changed so much now where like I said before, he used to be kind of like a silly, goofy comedian, but then he would get very introspective with his jokes. But now he's kind of more like oh, I'm gonna be reckless with the truth. I'm gonna say what y'all don't want me to say because you need to tell the truth. And like whenever comedians say stuff like that, it's always kind of like stuff against gay people, black people, people of
Yeah,
color, trans. It's always like kind of jokes about people who are already a little downtrodden, I guess you could say.
yeah.
It's never jokes about, the cops or the
It's
government.
punching down. It's
Yeah.
punching down,
Yeah.
and I think also like whenever you have this many people saying like, "Hey, that thing you said is kind of fucked up," it behooves you to like look at that and be like, oh shit, am I being the asshole here? Am I in the wrong? And it's okay if you examine that and then eventually conclude, oh no, um, they're giving me too much grief for this. I mean, but I think you have to at least think about it. You have to at least ask or address the question.
Yeah, and like Chappelle and like Louis C.K. and a few other, they don't seem to be doing that. They're like they get
Right.
very defensive and they're like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not in the wrong. You're in the wrong. Go fuck yourself. And it's just
Right. Like, because I've been in the right. I've been I've been Mister woke for 20 years or whatever, or something like that. There's no way the world can possibly be passing me by. And it's like, it happens with everybody eventually.
yeah. I mean, so like the last few spells, I didn't even see his last special, the closer. I didn't even see it because I was so
I certainly
disappointed
haven't. No.
in the last one. Like guys, if you want to watch a special that's better than Chappelle, Like I would highly recommend you watch Roy Wood Jr. special. Like he put out 3 specials that I thought were excellent. Like he's doing the stuff that I wish Chappelle would do, but he's just not.
What are his specials on? Which service do you
Uh,
know?
they came out on Comedy Central. You could probably find them on Paramount Plus, and like they're streaming on like Amazon and stuff. But like
Okay,
they're
all right.
really good. Like Roy Wood Jr. is, to me, he's the best doing it right now out there.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I'll have
So
to
like
check that out.
yeah. So like when I saw Chappelle was hosting, I was like, this is like I'm just I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Exactly, exactly.
And
So
yeah,
yeah, and also yeah, you get sick of like yeah, should SNL be amplifying these people? Because like they had fucking Trump host, they had Elon Musk host,
yeah.
and like I never watched the Trump episode. I certainly wouldn't have watched the Elon episode if we weren't doing the damn podcast. I
Oh,
mean, we watched that episode through gritted teeth.
dude, that episode almost killed me. It really
Yeah,
did.
I don't. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I wouldn't boycott the Chappelle episode, but I certainly get where all the criticism of him is coming from.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it might be a thing where, like, the last time he hosted, he was in like 2 sketches and he did, like a 20 minute or whatever it was
Yeah,
monologue. So maybe this will be that. But I mean, at the same time, I'm like, this isn't a great look. I can only imagine what Molly is going through after hearing
yeah.
this,
I
and
mean, because they have a non-binary cast member now. So
yeah, I mean,
how is that supposed to make them feel?
I would love it if they had, if like I just realized, like, oh wait, Molly hadn't had her weekend update segment yet. Like I would love it if
Yeah,
Molly had it this week of all weeks
that
to
would be something.
like
That would
really
yeah,
address it, or if Molly was in a
yeah,
sketch with Dave Chappelle and like and Molly really told you heard her point of view of things, or
yeah.
their point of view. Sorry, so like
We still slip up on the pronouns. We
we're
apologize.
learning, we
Yeah,
learn, we grow.
we're we're learning. We're trying. We try to correct ourselves when we fuck up.
Right.
So
So I mean,
okay,
yeah. So I mean, I would love it if we heard Molly's point of view on this, Bowen, Punky's, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. This Dave Chappelle, I don't like. So far this whole season, their choices and hosts
It's a
have been
weird
very.
season, man. It's a weird season so
Mm,
far.
I'm not. I don't know. I came in optimistic, but now I'm starting to worry.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's an odd season.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you said you had some thoughts on Black Star too.
Oh right, yeah. Black Star. Actually, this is one of the shows where I'm actually looking more forward to the musical guest than I am the host. Because I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know if any for those that don't know '90s hip hop, Black Star is basically rapper Talib Kweli and Yasin Bey, formerly Mos Def. So
Oh,
yeah, so there are these 2 Brooklyn rappers who are excellent rappers, amazing, and like they kind of came up in the underground hip hop scene. And in the '90s, they put out what I think is one of the best hip hop albums of the '90s. Most Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star because they got together and they called themselves Black Star.
okay.
And
All right.
but yeah, I'll actually it's not just me. I think a lot of hip hop aficionados would agree that their debut self-titled album is one of the best albums of the '90s. It's really strong. The two of them have great chemistry, great flow. Like the beats are dope. It was a really strong album that everybody loves. I remember back in the day when I got it, like I kept it on heavy rotation, heavy. Like I saw them. I think I remember seeing them live in the city at this old club called Tramps that isn't around anymore. They did a show with like another one of my favorite groups, De La Soul,
Uh-huh.
and they really made like a strong impact on the hip hop scene. I don't know, like as far as mainstream goes, I don't think they've had too many mainstream hits, but like
So is this like a reunion thing?
kinda, yeah. Like
Okay.
for the longest time, people have wanted them to make a second follow up album to their debut album, which came out like late '90s. That was like '96, '98 or something like that, and they haven't done it. Like just because either the situation hasn't been right or whatever. Just for like decades, they just have not come out with a follow up album. Until recently, they finally came out with a follow up album, but they only released it through Luminary, which is a podcast streaming site.
Right. I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like yeah, for those that one of our past guests, Christina Hutchinson, her podcast "Guys We Fucked" is on Luminary.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah,
and
thanks for giving them the plug. They really needed the
yeah,
boost.
we're gonna help them out. They could use a few ducats. And yeah, and Talib Kweli has a podcast on Luminary called the People's Podcast. Uh, Dave Chappelle, Yasim, and Talib
Okay,
have
a lot of people are on it.
yeah, and they have their own podcast on Luminary called I think like the Midnight Miracle. So like for some reason they just
Right.
put out this album only on Luminary, making very exclusive, and it's the only
Hmm.
place you can hear this album that people have been waiting decades for, which I'm not wild about. Like
Yeah,
it's
I don't.
it's
It's so tough to keep track of stuff because like we have so many different venues and different streamers and stuff, and yeah, it's impossible to keep track of all the content out there. I'm really out of loop. I didn't even realize that Mos Def had changed his name.
yeah.
So
I think he changed. I think it was like maybe religious reasons or something, but he goes
okay,
by Yasim Bey now. It's his rapper name. I don't know if that's his like
okay.
actual name. I don't know. It's something like that.
I have no idea.
I don't.
I would have been very surprised, like watching last week.
Yeah,
I would have been like, "Is that Mos Def?"
it is. It is. It's most. I don't think he lives in America anymore. I think he lives like in Europe or overseas
Okay,
or
I'm gonna
something.
have to Google him between now and next week. All right, so
Yeah.
those are our thoughts on next week, and it'll be an interesting show. It sounds kind of exciting, but in the meantime, we've got this show to talk
Oh right.
about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We haven't even started. Well, we started, but
Well,
yeah.
we went on a big tangent. I mean, I figured it was the time to do it because it came up organically. It was like
Yeah.
sex with Eartha Kitt in the airline bathroom.
Hey now. Oh,
Organically,
nice.
it came up organically.
Nice. That's what she said.
Hashtag 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah. Oh, that movie's coming out too. That's
That
great.
movie's coming out, and Donald Glover's going to be in it. Let's not
Ooh-wee.
let's not go on another tangent. We're just at the first sketch.
Right.
First sketch is called Soup. Um, we got a group of friends out at a restaurant. Amy Schumer's her character is really excited because she's ordered matzo ball soup. She's been craving it all week, and she's just about to dig in. And then Heidi's character announces that she's separating from her husband.
Right. So now she's in this position where she feels like she's an uncaring friend if she eats the soup before she
Right.
hears about her friend talking about her impending divorce and how her husband wants the kids. She calls she gets a call from her lawyer. Her lawyer got disbarred.
I like that touch. I liked that they were escalating Heidi's troubles.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, the whole conflict there of like she wants to she's trying to figure out how to like subtly dig into her soup but still be there for her friend. But
Yeah. It's very Curb Your Enthusiasm.
yeah, it kind of was, and then it took a turn where they had Keenan's in a circle in the corner, and he's like narrating the sketch
Through
through
song.
song,
Yeah.
which I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. Hmm.
I really feel like Keenan has just become way too much of a crutch for the show. You know,
I could
like
see that.
whenever a sketch is in trouble, they're just like, "Hey, let's bring Keenan in there. He'll make everything come alive." And sometimes he does, but a lot of times he doesn't because he's been there so long. I think he's allowed to get very, very lazy and very self indulgent. And
I wouldn't disagree with that. Like he does
yeah,
still work in some instances, but yeah, you can't overuse him. You know, he's like salt
yeah,
in a nice meal.
exactly.
But
So
yeah, I mean, with this sketch, I think it would have worked better if we didn't have him in it to narrate. You know what? Because like I mean, I think the audience got what this situation was. Oh, this person wants to eat the soup, but she doesn't want to look like a jerk while her
yeah,
friend, kind of is going through something. So so just have her subtly try to eat the soup without all this, explanation or what's the word?
extraneous stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this exposition done through song. Like I don't think we, the audience, we don't need that. Like
I
we,
don't think it really added anything to it. I would have preferred it if it was just in the behavior and her. I mean, they were hitting that hard enough, you know.
yeah,
I didn't really need the Keenan thing to spoon feed it to me.
yeah. I think it's one of those things is where maybe they felt like let's use Keenan. He makes everything better. And B, let's use some singing because everything's funnier when you sing it. As we,
And I feel like those are both faulty assumptions.
yeah, I mean, we saw stand up comedy in the early aughts. We know, like,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was that wave where like comedians were like kind of singing their punchlines that weren't very strong, and they were kind of using
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that? What was that?
Randy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like, oh yeah, so I got kicked out of my apartment the other day because I'm awesome at life. And
yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, all right,
So,
could have punched that up
the
better.
other thing this sketch made me realize, I don't think I've ever had matzo ball soup.
I don't believe I have either.
Am I missing out? I wonder that. Maybe I've tried it and I just don't remember it, but I don't think I've ever had matzo ball soup.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically like uncooked dough in a soup, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's like a solid thing.
Yeah.
Um, like a few years ago, I got to there was this Asian restaurant near my job at the time, and they had like these little soup ball things,
Mm-hmm.
and I forget what they're and like you bite into them, and they're like filled with soup, and they're so good. It was
Mm.
really good. Um,
Oh, that sounds good.
oh yeah, it's great. I
Wow.
mean, you have to be like a little careful because it's hot soup, but it's not like piping hot soup. But
Right. You don't
oh,
like.
it's so good, and I'm craving it right now. I'm craving it like Amy Schumer's character is craving the matzo ball soup.
Well, John, can I tell you about my problems first before you eat that soup?
Yes, you can.
She wants to take
You
the kids.
so yeah, I didn't really like this sketch much at all. I didn't really understand why it was leading off the night, but I found it cool that we saw our friend Q Guard Wally.
You saw that too. I totally wrote that down. I was like, hey, it's
Like
Walt.
I was like, it's always fun seeing Wally pop up, and he was just like moving fast and doing his job, and yeah, it's great to see you, Wally.
Yeah.
Because we've talked to him and we've had him on as a guest on the podcast, and we want to have him back. We want to have him back sometime.
Mm,
Maybe
absolutely.
we'll reach out to him during a skip week or something. But it's always fun to see him pop up on
Yeah,
there.
no,
He pops up on Seth Meyers' show fairly regularly. So
that's
what a
right.
kick!
We are Wally holics here on the SNL Nerds podcast.
Wally holics. I can't get enough of Wally.
That's right.
So yeah,
Yeah. So
I didn't think much of this.
yeah, same. Like I don't see why this kind of kicked off the night. It was kind of. I feel like it would have been stronger without the singing,
Hmm.
but even then, it would have just been okay.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so not the strongest show so far. Next, we have, as we often do after the first sketch, pre-tape COVID commercial.
Hmm.
This we don't have writing credits for this one, and I would love to give the writers for this one a shout out because I really like this. This was talking about how if you're really stressed, you got a lot going on. Catching COVID now is like a 5 to 10 day vacation from all your commitments.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
yeah, that was. I thought that was a good original take on it. How it just gives you a break from your frantic life,
Right,
and people were like, "Hey, I can watch all the Netflix I want to watch, and it's fine because I'm triple vax now, so it's really just like a mild cold."
right. I mean, it's still kind of bad, but it feels doesn't it feel kind of different now?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah. But yeah. That's what I thought. I mean, for me, I thought this was sketch of the night. Like
sketch of the night for me too. Yeah,
I thought it was like
yeah, I agree.
an interesting take. It took a turn I wasn't expecting, and they just kind of built on it. I liked how like when Heidi was like a frazzled mom who couldn't deal with her kids, so
Yeah,
her doctor recommended she get COVID. So now she has to quarantine and push her kids and her husband out of the house. And
yeah,
I did like Andrew Dismuke's portrayal of the husband leaving. Like as he's getting pushed out the door, he's like, "Oh,
right.
by the way, wait, what do they eat?"
Yeah,
And
yeah, he's just the clueless husband. I liked how they said, this built nicely. They were saying like, oh, and for an extra fee, we'll knock off the Wi-Fi in your house, so you don't have to attend any Zoom meetings. And
right,
and then they said we also have the COVID always positive test, so you could just fake having COVID.
right. And I also again like it was Heidi pushing Andrew out the house again because she
Mhm,
had COVID again, and
right.
he's just like, please don't
He's
do
like,
this.
you just had it last week.
Yeah, it's like please don't do this to me.
Yeah, this was really funny. I really like this. Definitely sketch of the night for me.
Yeah, I would say it's sketch of the night. It kind of teetered on that line though. I thought for a little bit where because like at one point Sarah Sherman got COVID, and
Mhm.
she was telling her friends, her coworkers about it at home, and it's like, oh, it's like I had a bad cold for like a week,
Yeah.
and like part of me was thinking, oh, that's like a little too close to what like Fox 5, not Fox 5, like Fox News and like anti-vaxxers were saying a couple years ago, a little bit,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just like a
But
bad cold.
but
But
the thing is, the truth is it's not as bad now just because of the vaccine and boosters and stuff like that. And yeah, please get vaccinated and
yes,
boosted and keep up with that stuff.
yeah, and I did like the list of things that it gets that having COVID gets you out of,
Yeah.
including cousin's wedding, friend's improv show,
Yeah. Yeah.
husband,
That one hit hard because I used to be in an improv group.
oh
So
boy,
yeah.
husband's murder trial.
Yeah.
That I thought that was pretty hilarious. All in
Yeah.
all, I thought this was definitely the best sketch of the night.
Definitely best sketch of the night. And hey, speaking of a husband's murder trial, our next sketch was Jurors.
Speaking of murder,
This was written by the Please Don't Destroy Boys, Martin Harley, John Higgins, Ben Marshall, along with Celeste Yim. This had a murder trial going on with, I think it was Michael Longfellow was the defendant. Am I
oh
remembering
no,
that
it's
correctly?
Marcelo Hernandez.
Marcelo. Okay, it was Marcelo. Sorry. Still learning all the new cast members' names. Um, and we had Amy Schumer, Bowen Yang, and Sarah Sherman all in the jury box, and they're very dramatic jurors. They're like gasping at the revelations and stuff,
Right, they're basically kind of treating it like it's I don't know, like a Netflix drama or something.
or it's like some party that they're Instagramming or
Yes,
something. You know, they're like, oh, we're posing for the sketch artist, and like everything's all about them.
yes, very much so.
So yeah, so they're like, now the murderer's yelling at us,
Yeah,
and Bowen at one point said the judge is trying to silence three women of color.
that was a funny line. I did dig that.
That was a funny line. Um,
I like at one point they just get bored with the trial and ask if they could listen to the new Taylor Swift album,
yeah,
Midnights.
yeah. Um, and I liked how they tied things together at the end, where like Amy Schumer's character is using the murder weapon, which is this big butcher knife. She's using it to eat chicken cacciatore, and thereby proves that the knife isn't sharp enough to kill the murder victim because it's not even sharp enough to cut the chicken. I thought that was well written.
Right. Yeah. No.
Uh,
And then so they figure out that he didn't do it, so he's
mhm,
innocent. And then
right.
confetti comes out of the ceiling out of nowhere.
Right, and we see a caricature of them from the sketch artist. Good caricature, by the way.
Yeah. Not bad.
Um,
Not bad.
yeah, yeah. It was. This was really well written. I did feel by this point in the show, I was like, does it seem like Amy Schumer's playing a lot of assholes tonight?
Go with what you know, I guess.
Yeah, and I realize it's comedy. You do play a lot of unsympathetic comedy protagonists, but I was just like, they were hitting that note a lot. She was playing a lot of assholes.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the 10-1 kind of is
Yeah,
almost the same person.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I didn't mind the sketch. I thought it was okay. I did notice that I think the sketch was left over from like the Gerard Carmichael episode, from what I read online.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah, yeah, I think
interesting.
it was written back then, but I never used it, so they're repurposing it now. Recycle.
All right. Well, I'm glad they did that because I thought it was a pretty decent sketch.
Yeah, decent sketch, I'd
Yeah.
say.
All right. Next, we have Twitter Council. This was written by Sierra O'Sullivan, Josh Patton, Streeter Seidel, and Will Steven. This
Mhm.
was, like the whole Elon Musk bought Twitter. This was the first content moderation council meeting, and Chloe and Keenan were the only two employees not laid off by Elon Musk because he laid off literally thousands of employees this week.
Yep, because he's good at business.
He's good at business and he's smart and he's got a plan that's
Mm. I don't know. Have you thought about getting off Twitter, or you're still like
I
gonna?
mean, I thought about it. I not real seriously, not seriously enough to investigate other forums and mediums. Like people were talking about the Mastodon thing this weekend, and I was like, I've never even heard of Mastodon, but apparently has different divisions of stuff.
Oh, I
Um,
I just know it as that like heavy metal band.
I just started thinking of the cake song, Mr. Mastodon Farm, and I was like,
Oh,
I'm going to listen to that cake song now.
I don't even know what the
Um,
hell that is. What, is that off the first album? Or the.
I mix up what order the Cake albums came in because I kind of discovered Cake all in, so I got all their albums in a chunk.
Okay.
So I kind of mix up which album's which.
A chunk of cake.
So I don't know. I think it's on like some. What's the one of Generosity?
Oh, Cavalcade of Generosity?
I think it's on that one.
Okay. All right. I'll check it
And if
out.
I get that wrong, I'll correct it next week, maybe.
Okay. Maybe.
Um, so yeah, so like Chloe and Keenan, they're meeting with a lot of band people. Cecily comes on as a COVID denier. Bowen is in fatigues. Amy Schumer is playing a porn bot lady. Uh,
Punky comes up as like Black Twitter, representing Black Twitter.
right.
And then we got James Austin Johnson as Trump,
Yeah.
playing two presidents, or one former president and a current president, in the same show.
And yeah, oh yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were making a joke about how Trump was still president.
Oh
I was like,
God, no! I would.
oh no, right. He
I
played Biden at the
Yeah.
beginning of the show.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I would never make a joke about Trump still being
Okay,
president.
I'm with you now. I'm
Uh,
with you now. I didn't know. I didn't understand you for a couple seconds there.
no one does.
He also had like a community mention.
Yes, like you just did.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Uh,
He was like, yeah, Chevy Chase still wasn't very well liked on Community.
and
He gonna
SNL.
come back? Who knows?
He wasn't very liked on Community or SNL or most of the movies he's worked on.
Yeah.
Mm. But yeah. So this Twitter sketch, it's basically the same formula, the same format as the tenant meeting sketch from the William Dafoe episode, and
Yeah,
and
yeah, very much so.
and the school board meeting sketch from the Owen Wilson episode.
Or even like when they have a wedding and like people are objecting to it. It just lots of rapid fire characters and stuff like that. It works a little better here than it does in the cold open, I thought, but I still didn't think this was the strongest sketch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was definitely kind of. It was definitely kind of weird. Like the material Cecily came out with and Bowen came out with were very
Mm-hmm.
strong. I think Schumer probably had the strongest lines in it, where
Mm-hmm.
she says like, "Oh, hey, you sound like a hot funny guy. I bet you have an awesome social security number."
Yes,
Like stuff like
exactly.
that I thought was funny. But yeah, and even like the Trump stuff didn't quite hit like it should have. Like a
Yeah.
lot of
Well,
the.
even like from early on, like Chloe and Keenan, one of them says like, "Oh, we're the only two employees Elon hasn't laid off," and it didn't get any laugh,
Yeah.
which didn't bode well. I felt like this sketch it was very much kind of the obvious way to go.
Yeah, I mean, this just happened, so you got to comment on it. You got to have like a
Yeah.
take on it, but they didn't have that strong a take on it, so it
Right.
didn't really kind of land like it should have. And I remember at the very end of the sketch, it ends with Chloe and Keenan being fired, and
Yeah.
then I think Chloe says, "Hooray, we're finally free!" And I kind of
Yeah.
felt like that's how Chloe felt like at the end of the sketch, like in real life.
Well, I mean, it's uncomfortable when you're performing material and it's not going great. I mean,
Mm.
I've certainly bombed on stage. I'm assuming you have.
Uh, no, I killed every time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm
Every
a lot
time,
of my feelings.
uproarious laughter, just time and
Right.
time again.
They all carry you off on their shoulders at the end of
Yes,
every set.
that's right. I am a god.
Which is, maybe I'm just following you too much. Maybe that's the problem.
Might be yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, bruh. Gotta step your game up, homie.
Yeah. So I felt the sketch was just kind of mediocre.
Yeah, definitely not very strong or unfortunately very memorable. It was just kind of.
No. Honestly, my attention really wandered during this one, and it wasn't until I rewatched it this morning that I was like, "Oh, okay, so this is what this was about."
Yeah, I definitely felt myself.
I think the text scroll at the beginning just kind of set me off. I was like, "Nope, don't want to do this much reading past midnight."
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they needed that text scroll in the beginning. They could have just. I mean, we all kind of know what happened. Oh yeah, Elon came in, bought Twitter, and fired everybody, and it
Yeah,
seemed. I don't
and
know
he,
why
and
they
he,
couldn't
and he
like.
wants to charge people $8 for being verified, and like people are trying to explain to him why that's a horrible, horrible idea, and it kind of takes away the whole point of verification. And yeah, So I don't know. I'm still kind of on wait and see mode with Twitter right now.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I don't use it too often, but of course, I use it, or we use it for when we tweet out stuff about this podcast. And but
Yeah,
for me personally, I don't use it that much from my personal account. So like I am,
yeah,
I may have like one foot out the door. I'm just kind of in wait and see mode, like yourself.
yeah. The thing I've been hearing is like if you do choose to leave Twitter, download an archive of your data
Mm.
of all your tweets and stuff
Mm.
before you do. Don't just like delete your account or shut down your account.
Oh,
So
hadn't heard that.
that's a little Twitter tip there.
Mm. This has been Twitter tips with Trumbull.
Twitter tips with John and Darren.
Hey,
Um, so yeah, not much else to say about this. I think.
yeah.
All
Uh,
right, next another pre-tape. Looker,
the
the Looker,
the Looker.
the Looker. Written by Rosebud Baker and Streeter Seidel.
Yeah. So
Uh,
this is basically a play on the Netflix show The Watcher, which
right,
seems to be
which
doing.
I don't really know about. I think I've heard of the Watcher, but I hear the Watcher and I think Marvel Comics.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You think of
So
What If?
the big guy with the square head lives on the moon. He narrates What If. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course. That's the only Watcher I know. That's the only Watcher I know.
that's. I mean, I've known about that since I was like 10. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Netflix.
so the Watcher on Netflix. It's about like some mysterious person spying on a family. I guess.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I'm not even sure if it's a movie or a TV show, but yeah, it's basically that. Like
Yeah.
some, I think Bobby Cannavale's in it and a few other people. But yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
basically,
I like him.
yeah, he's good stuff. Yeah, it's basically,
He's good stuff. I,
yeah,
I like seeing him pop up and stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't necessarily follow him from stuff to stuff, but when I see him, I'm like, hey, Bunny Carnival.
Bobby Cannavale.
Um,
But yeah, so it's basically about this family moving into a house, and they have some mysterious creepo looking in on them and telling them like, "Oh, I see all your movements and whatnot." Um, that's pretty much all I know about it. So basically, this is a play on that, where this family's in a house. Uh, Amy and James Austin Johnson are the parents. Marcelo and Chloe are the kids, and they get a letter saying, "Oh, I see your daughter. I see
right.
writing about the
She's
boy.
writing this in her diary.
Yeah, and your son is practicing guitar."
Yeah, and then when he gets to the mother, Amy Schumer's character, she's like, she ate an entire second dinner and she pleasures herself to the Property Brothers. And Schumer's just going like, what? Oh no, that's completely false. I don't do any of that stuff. And everyone else in the family saying like, oh no, our stuff was accurate.
Yeah, and it's yeah, then the watcher reveals like, "Oh yeah, she has problem pooping." And she's like
Mhm.
constipated, and then like she's
Right.
on her Peloton bike, but she doesn't even use it. She just kind of plays on her phone, which but she
but
somehow,
she still sweats,
yeah,
and then yeah, and then she goes back and watches Property Brothers, but only for 5 minutes.
yeah.
So
And then Amy Schumer's like, "Well, hey, maybe you guys we should move and go to a hotel until we figure this out, but I'll stay in the house just to check on the house." And then she, beats off to Property Brothers again.
yeah,
And
I didn't really like this. This didn't really do much for me.
it it didn't really elevate, it didn't, or escalate, it didn't really go anywhere. Yeah, like a lot of this fell flat.
Yeah,
I thought it's just, I think like the jokes are supposed to be, oh, she's masturbates to Property Brothers. Isn't that hilarious? And I'm like, I guess.
kind of maybe I would have liked it more if I'd watched or was even at all familiar with the Watcher at all, but
Yeah,
I'm not, so I didn't.
yeah. I don't know, yeah, this kind of landed with a thud with me, where it's like, oh,
Yeah,
this isn't really going anywhere, and it just kind of peters out. So I was like,
yeah.
oh boy, swing and a miss.
All right. So next we have our musical guest for the week, Mr. Steve Lacy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I'll say like I overall liked his stuff. Um,
Yeah,
I I thought he was pretty good. Not really familiar with him. He had a bit of a Stevie Wonder look because he had like the dark sunglasses or not sunglasses, but like a visor over his eyes.
yeah. It was weird. It was like he's wearing like a mask, a plastic mask over his eyes, almost
Yeah,
like Robin in the old Batman series, but
yeah,
like there were no eye holes. So I was like, I don't know how he could see, and he was wearing like this shirt with an S on it, and
Hmm.
He had like a necktie on, so that made the S look like a dollar sign. I mean, I wasn't quite sure what
Yeah.
he was trying to say with that, but
I I thought it was pretty good music. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Ja-
I'm hip. I'm with it. I'm down with the kids.
taka, 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 taka. Uh,
I
uh,
don't know. Do you have any big opinions on Mr. Steve Lacy?
not really. Well,
Were you familiar with him before?
I don't know much about him. I know all I know is he used to be in this band called The Internet back in the day, and then he kind of he's a guitarist with The Internet. Then he kind of went solo. He kind of worked with other artists like Frank Ocean, Tyler the Creator, co-wrote some songs with Kendrick Lamar and Solange Knowles. So he's just kind of always been in the background, but now it seems like he's kind of taken a step forward into the spotlight. And his stuff is nice. His it's kind of like mellow R&B kind of yeah, like you said, Stevie Wonder type of vibe. I dig it. I think it's nice. The two songs he did were Bad Habit and Helmet. And so overall not bad. Nice smooth funky vibes from
Hmm.
Mr. Steve Lacy. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, yeah. It was good stuff. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
So I think it's always like I've reached the age where I know very very few of the musical guests on SNL anymore, just because I'm just not really engaging with pop music the way I used to.
Hmm.
But it's always fun when it's somebody I haven't heard of, and I'm just like, oh, well, they're pretty good. Or they exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's fun.
There you go. Yeah, you felt that way about what artist was it that you really liked?
Willow, I was very pleasantly surprised by a couple weeks ago during the Brendan Gleeson episode. I was
That
like,
that
I
surprised me because I
dug Willow's stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, so you could always learn and appreciate new upcoming artists. That's
Well,
great, man.
yeah, you try to be open to that.
Yeah, I try not to be like one of those people that like, oh, music today isn't like the music I liked back in when I was a teenager, therefore it sucks. I always want to be
Yeah,
kind of open to whatever's out there now to be like, all right, this isn't what I'm used to, but it's not bad. It's interesting.
yeah, yeah,
Go
exactly.
going with an open mind, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Next up,
okay, well, next after the weekend, after the musical guest, as SNL is wont to do, we have a weekend update with Colin Just and Michael Che.
Micah Che. Look at that.
So what do we do? They hit on a lot of the big stories. They hit on like the Elon Musk buying Twitter, the Pelosi attack, um,
Yeah. They did that.
the Oprah endorsing Fetterman, which is like Colin just said, it's like Batman fully endorsing the Penguin when Robin runs for the mayor of Gotham City. Uh,
That is interesting how basically Oprah gave Dr. Oz his entire career. And like
yeah,
when he is running for office now, Oprah's like, no, don't vote for him.
yeah, and I'm kind of conflicted on that. I'm just like, uh, are you doing that just because that's the way that the wind is blowing right now? Because it's kind of last minute, and it's kind of like, well, I wish you'd said something sooner. I wish you'd never given him a platform in the first place. And
Yeah, it's weird. Like how she kind of built up, like him and Dr. Phil, where he kind of
yeah,
built up these people and kind of gave them a platform. And
yeah,
then they kind of use that platform to say and do pretty horrible, heinous things. And it's
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
I've created a monster type of thing, I guess. It's
yeah.
unfortunate. But I mean, we also have a few other things. Like we have, I believe Michael Che had a nice joke about comparing Obama's resume to Herschel Walker's resume, and we see,
That was all right. I'd already seen Colbert do that same joke
oh really?
better this week.
Oh shit!
So
Ooh, all right.
it was better because like Colbert went into more detail on all of Obama's achievements, and yeah. So I was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I've basically seen that joke already this week, so
Okay, yeah, I hear you. And
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, by the way, just to backtrack a minute before we get too deep into weekend update, the Penguin has run for mayor of Gotham City. He's run for mayor of Gotham City on the '60s Batman show, and of course in Batman Returns, and I think in a few other places as well. So I just want to note that for all my comic geeks out there.
wow.
So,
I mean, did he ever win? I know Lex Luthor ran for office in the comics too.
Lex Luthor in the DC universe was actually elected president in 2000. So, in the DC universe, Lex Luthor became president instead of George W. Bush.
Life imitates art.
Yeah. It's nuts, and I could go on and on about that, but I'm trying to keep the show on track.
Lex Luthor buys Twitter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Lex Luthor's actually smart.
Damn, son. Yeah, and
maybe like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. It's like that kind of Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, I got you. Okay, I hear you. All right, and
another story they hit on. They talked about. They said since Elon Musk bought Twitter, use of the N word went up by 500%. And the line that they gave to Jost was, "That's the biggest increase since the last time I stubbed my toe."
Oh yeah, another Jost is racist joke.
And that's fun. And yeah, again, kudos to Jost for being such a good sport as to let himself be the butt of jokes about that.
That's right, punchable face.
Did you notice any of that happening on Twitter?
I mean, no one called me anything.
Okay, all right, good. Glad to hear it.
I mean, I'm not on Twitter super crazy like that, so I haven't noticed it. But I don't find it hard to believe that it would have happened.
Yeah, I don't doubt the story is true. I just didn't, like, anecdotally, I personally did not see any. Maybe just because, like, when I see a heinous person on Twitter, I just block them, and they don't even have to be heinous to me. I just see them being heinous to somebody.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, you're just an asshole. Block. I'm very liberal with the block button on Twitter because it's like you moderate your own experience,
Yeah, no, absolutely. You preemptive block.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way to do it.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it.
Che had a nice line. Like, there's a thing where in New York, there's like this new law where in job listings you have to report the salaries accurately because so many job sites they just are vague about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, now the sites are reporting from the top salary all the way down to the female salary. that was another, like, God help me, I laughed.
Yeah. And he also had that other joke about how somebody took a picture of the sun recently, and there's like an image of the sun where it looks like the sun is smiling.
You're right.
So if the sun can smile, would it kill you, ladies? To maybe like, I don't know. Che seems to be leaning into those women jokes quite a little bit these days.
I like how Che just sort of adopts that heinous persona. Yeah, like Anthony Jeselnik does a little bit of that too, where it's just like,
right.
And I like that he's so gutsy and unapologetic about it. And yeah, it's very God help me, I laughed. I mean, I don't agree with the premise of the joke, and I don't think Che does either. Obviously, that's why he can make those jokes. But,
right.
But it's just like I don't see the punchline coming, so therefore it makes me laugh.
Right. Exactly. It's not bad. So overall, like, weekend update, the joke segments, it was decent, I would say.
Yeah. I like the others. I liked Jost talking about people being allowed to carry firearms into zoos, and then Jost like pulls out a gun. And he's like, "So those monkeys aren't going to make fun of me again."
Yes, yeah, that was pretty fun.
And Che saying that China launched missiles into the ocean, and all because the Little Mermaid is black.
That's right. See what happens, libs.
I like those. I liked the bizarre turns that a lot of the update jokes took this week.
No, absolutely.
That was good. And then lastly, we had a desk piece with Cecily as Tammy the trucker, who's here to talk about gas prices and not abortion.
Yeah.
Kind of reminiscent of the Goober the Clown piece from last season.
Kinda.
Well, yeah. I mean, not quite as successful, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, still good and still very heartfelt and wonderfully performed.
Yeah, I mean, like with the Goober the Clown sketch, they really caught lightning in a bottle with that one because it was really Cecily kind of sharing this heartfelt story about what she had to go through with her own abortion, and like it seems like now they're trying to sort of see if lightning strikes twice. And I don't think this one hit as.
It didn't hit quite as hard, but I mean, but also to be fair, how could it?
Yeah, that's true.
but I think her performance really elevated it. I liked her like passing the steering wheel back and forth to Colin, and they were just kind of she wasn't making any bones about she was half-assing the trucker part of it.
Right,
He's
right.
like, "Did you just Google some trucker terms?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
It's like, ooh,
Because
I'm a trucker. I gotta head on off to Rancho Cucaramba.
right, right. The line that really stuck with me and struck me was, "We all love someone who's had an abortion," and I think that puts it beautifully.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, and it's so ridiculous that this is going on, and we have to be angry about this shit. And
Yeah,
but yeah, but
it's
yeah, please vote on Tuesday. Please,
please
please
vote.
vote blue straight down the line.
Right. That's
God,
yeah.
so
The world is
God,
garbage on fire.
yeah. I mean, God bless you, Cecily Strong. I'm so glad her voice is still on the show, and I'm glad they gave her a forum to say this. So
Yeah, absolutely. She's doing the Lord's work. You and your dog, and your little dog too.
yeah, and your little dog Lucy too. Yes.
Absolutely.
So
But yeah, overall, not a bad weekend update.
a pretty good update. A pretty good update. There apparently were a few desk segments that got cut. There was one that I just read about on Twitter where Sarah Sherman apparently had a little weekend update desk, and it's her like trolling Colin again. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh wow, I hope they come back to that in the weeks to come,
yeah.
because that sounds really strong. And I'm jonesing for a good Sarah trolls Colin desk segment. So those have always they've done it like three times and they've always been strong. So
it's time. It's time.
it's time.
Absolutely.
So after update, there was a little title card, an RIP to Kirshnik Kari Ball, who I was not familiar with. I had to look him up. He was a rapper named Takeoff, right? You were telling me about him before we started recording.
Yes. Takeoff. He was a rapper in the rap group Migos, which was
Mm-hmm.
they were a pretty big deal a couple years ago. Migos was one of the musical guests on SNL when Charles Barkley hosted,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like it's he unfortunately was murdered a few
Yeah,
days ago, uh, and it seemed like a senseless murdering too. Like from what I've
and he
read,
was. You were saying he was only 28, which
yeah,
oh god, that's just way too young to go.
yeah, it's a real big bummer. I think it was like a dice game or something that was totally avoidable, and it just sucks that he's no longer here. And it looks like the group Migos. It looked like the group Migos as we know it is totally over.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they SNL decided to pay him a little bit of a tribute. They performed, like I said, when Charles Barkley hosted, and also when they performed with Katy Perry uh, not too long ago. So
Right.
yeah, it's a big bummer. It's a big loss.
Yeah, I was just very confused because I was like, okay, wait, I don't think I know that person, and I don't know what their connection to SNL was. So I assume they've been on the show at some point
Right.
because they usually only note somebody who has a connection with SNL. So I had to do a little research on that.
Okay. But yeah, there were musical performances, and yeah, no longer with us. R.I.P. Takeoff.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Um, all right, getting back to the show, we have our next sketch called Jets Fans. This was written by Streeter Seidel and Brian Tucker. We have a bunch of people tailgating at a Jets game at the MetLife Stadium here in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I
Jets.
drove by it just a little over a week ago.
Oh,
We have Keenan, James,
uh,
no, not James Austin Johnson,
Dismukes.
Dismukes. I don't know why I wrote down James Austin Johnson. I was like, wait, no, he pops up later. We had Keenan, Dismukes, Amy Schumer, and Cecily as the fans who were tailgating.
Right.
And
And
they're heckling Bills fans.
yeah, so basically it's a thing where when they're talking to each other, they're, reasonable, calm-minded individuals, and they talk to each
Nice
other.
and polite, talking about their lives. Oh yeah, the kids are in school, and I've got the cutest kids in my kindergarten class right now, or something like that.
Yeah, but whenever somebody wearing the opposing team's color, which in this case is the Bills. The Jets are playing the
Yeah.
Bills. They turn into a savage, some savage heckling,
Yeah.
football fans.
So once again, Amy Schumer playing an asshole.
Yeah, that's her
Uh,
lane, baby.
I guess so. I guess I didn't realize it was so much her lane, but they were really leaning into it.
Yeah. So like we see them screaming at Bills fans in the parking lot, like, "Hey, you stupid moron, you fat
Yeah.
jerk!" And like at one point they're screaming at a pregnant Heidi Gardner, who's like, "I'm not fat, I'm
Mhm.
pregnant." And
Mikey comes on as a cop, and you think, oh, the cop's going to make them quiet down and behave themselves. But no, he joins in on the heckling.
yeah,
James Austin Johnson comes by as a guy in a wheelchair that they heckle, and then Amy Schumer goes off camera for a minute, and she comes back with the wheelchair.
yeah. At one point they're screaming at children
Mhm.
wearing actual children wearing Bills Bills sweatshirts and
Yeah,
jerseys. I think at one point,
and then towards the end, they find out that they've actually been out there just heckling people the entire game. The game's over in like 5 minutes, and
yes.
they're like, "Oh, should we stay?" And Keenan's like, "I'm still having a good time."
Yeah,
Uh,
I think at one point Keenan actually throws hot coals at the kids.
he did, he did. Yeah, because he's grilling, and
Yeah,
yeah, he throws some charcoal at them. Um, this one didn't do much for me.
yeah,
Maybe just because I'm not a sports guy. I've never tailgated. I mean, it seems like it would be fun, enjoyable if you're into that sort of thing.
yeah.
Uh,
Eating meats in a parking lot.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
I would enjoy that more than watching the game. I think,
Same.
but
But
yeah,
yeah,
I learned. I learned gym. Elementary school gym class taught me to associate sports with assholes at a very early age.
mm,
So I never got into sports culture in a big way. Um,
okay.
so this, I was like, at least it was short.
Yeah, I mean, not all sports people are a-hole. I mean,
Oh no, no,
Heidi.
but just like enough of them were that I just kind of stayed away from sports in general. And also, like, I wasn't in a household where like my dad was watching football every week, so I never got indoctrinated early on.
Gotcha. You never became part of the cult.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, but I mean, I got it. I understand what they were going for. I kind of wish the heckling was like a little bit more creative. Like
Hmm.
when they were screaming at the people, they were like, "Hey, jerk! Hey, you moron! You're a big moron! You moron,
Yeah,
jerk, moron, jerk!" It seemed like people, like they were kind of portraying, angry sports fans, but they never been to a sports game, so they don't know how sports.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that was it. Maybe it was a bunch of theater kids writing about sports fans.
yeah.
I hadn't thought of that, but
That was probably as like theater kids. All right, what do sports people talk like? And they're like, "Hey, you jerk face, you jerk, you jerky jerk, you're a jerk." That's how it literally. Like I thought they could have been a little bit more creative with
yeah.
it. Like
I think I very quickly I was like, oh, okay, I see the pattern. Like, we're having nice civilized conversations, then we turn on a dime, and then we're jerks.
yeah,
So
it almost kind of reminded me of the old Will Ferrell sketch, the Get Off the Shed, a little bit. Where
I'd say it was better than Get Off the Shed. I never really saw the appeal to Get Off the Shed, but
Will Ferrell
um,
screaming. That's what's
this was fine. This is I think a decent thing to have in the last half of the show. I was like, okay,
yeah,
I see why this got on. It was I liked like James Austin Johnson coming by in the wheelchair, just like quietly wheeling himself.
yes, that was funny.
It had its moments.
Yeah, I think it needed to build more or something. It needed
Mhm.
more something. It was just wasn't
Yeah, more
quite there.
specific insults would have been a good thing. That's a good point.
Yes, absolutely. Uh, Next up,
Next,
we got Pink.
another pre-tape. Our third pre-tape of the show.
Woo, stocking up.
So many pre-tapes on SNL these days, man.
So many.
So many. I don't know if there are too many. I mean, the pre-tapes are usually pretty strong, but
Yeah,
we had a lot.
we did. We did.
So next we had Pink's period underwear
Ooh,
with those special underwear to wear
yes,
when you're having your period.
that's right.
When it's that time of the month for you.
To hide your shame.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and it just eliminates the odors and the mess, and or at least reduces them. And I don't know how lady parts work. Whatever. Uh,
You finally admitted it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The big joke here is, I mean, we have like a montage of a bunch of women talking about how they're on the go and they don't always have time to like be dashing back and forth to the bathroom to attend to stuff, and Amy Schumer's character is on a first date with Mikey Day. Light show for Mikey Day, by the way.
Yeah, not a lot of Mikey in this one.
he only popped up in like a couple things, and I
Yeah.
was like, this. So the big joke here is that all the dogs are coming up to Amy Schumer's character and sniffing her in the crotch.
Yeah. As
So
animals are wont to do.
because yeah, they have a heightened sense of smell. They know what's going on.
Right. I think at one point we see Amy and Mikey at the zoo, and of course all the animals in the zoo
Yeah,
go nuts, like the lion
yeah,
and the
yeah.
tiger and the bears. Oh
Oh
my!
my!
Yeah. I think at one point we see like
It-
there's a circle. There's like a circle of vultures over her head
yeah,
or
yeah.
eagles.
Did you hear? I hear their periods attract bears.
The bears can smell the menstruation.
Did you hear that? Bears. Now you're putting the whole station at risk.
It is baloney.
We got to cover Anchorman 2 sometime.
We did. I remember watching Anchorman 2 and being like, "Oh, this isn't up to par." But I'll cover it if you want.
Yeah. Well,
All right. But
well enough, as I recall. I haven't watched it in a while, but
yeah, it's maybe let's give it another watch before we decide to do a whole episode about it.
okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, we'll talk.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
So I thought this was all right. I thought it was funny. It was short, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing to fill out the show. I thought.
I thought it was weird that like the animals following around the woman. It's all Amy Schumer that's happening to. Like because like then it cuts to other people who also are wearing the pinks, like
Yeah.
Ego and Height and Chloe, and Chloe is a vet, so I thought they would have had a thing where animals would have followed her
Oh,
around.
she's playing a vet. Yeah,
Yeah,
not like a veteran cast member. You mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
No. She's a vet. She's a veterinarian in the sketch.
Yes.
So I thought they would have had a thing where animals would have followed her around, but they didn't. It was just the animals were just following Amy around, which I thought
Yeah.
was interesting.
I think that's just because you want to give your host the good stuff and let them give the punchline, be the butt of the joke, whatever.
I suppose so.
So yeah, so it was just the cast setting the host up. I thought.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I didn't think it was that weird though.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, overall, I thought the sketch was okay.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all
It
right.
was funny short. Next, we have another live sketch. Getting back to the live sketches with WKTVN News. This one I got very distracted early on because, like in the opening seconds of the sketch, they say we're going to Trumbull County, and I'm like, what? What?
My county?
I was like, they said my name, and so I was like, I got to go tweet about this, and so I didn't really absorb the actual sketch until I rewatched it
John.
this morning.
It's all about you, isn't it?
I was like, oh, they're talking about me.
I'm taking this as a sign that somebody at SNL actually listens to this podcast, and this is their subtle way of letting us know that they listen.
This sketch, it was written by Kent Sublette and Celeste Yin. Do either of them know who I am and know that I exist and know that I co-host a podcast about SNL? Maybe. I don't know.
If they make a sketch next week that takes place in Paterson, New Jersey, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Let's throw down the gauntlet. Yes, let's have a sketch in Paterson, New Jersey. Let's complete the duology.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it.
Yeah, and like when I tweeted about it, I said like, oh yeah, and I know Trumbull is a town in Connecticut, but apparently they were referring to I think there's a Trumbull County in Ohio, and they said it's near Youngstown, which is I think where this sketch was taking place.
Okay, that sounds about right.
So, but hey, my mind was drifting, and I was busy tweeting. So,
got it. as it's wont to do.
Yes. So we have Michael Longfellow as a new reporter, Chance
Armstrong.
Yeah. And he's reporting on this house fire, and Cecily and Amy Schumer are these feuding cousins disrupting the newscast. And it comes out that Amy started the fire because she wants to get with Cecily's husband, Bowen. And, it's very white trash.
Yeah, like, this sketch I wasn't too wild about. It seemed really kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
This sketch, it kind of felt like they were making it up as they were going along.
Yeah.
Because it is like what you said, is like very kind of laying into the trope that, hey, white trash people are hilarious. And so it was just them feuding over Bowen Yang's character, and Amy Schumer like, I want to lay with you, and
Yeah.
then we have other kind of white trashy people in the neighborhood kind of sit.
Yeah, people start lining up to do their little tricks. They're like physical tricks. Like, here's the weird thing I can do. I liked when they had a big group of people gathering. They had a couple firefighters there.
Yeah, that was funny.
I like that's just it was never commented on, but I was like, okay, that's really cute that some of the firefighters are just shirking their duty because like I want to roll my stomach
Yeah.
or something.
I want to dance in front of the cameras.
Okay, there was a weird thing. There's a weird technical thing in this because I'm watching it live on TV. You were watching it live on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Cicely and Amy's characters they both flash the camera,
Right.
and it wasn't until the end of the sketch that they like did a little pixelation thing on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like it wasn't at the very end of the sketch, I was like, oh, they were supposed to be pixelated when they were flashing. Because I just saw them like lift their tops and they're both wearing like these flesh colored spank things underneath.
Oh, I didn't even notice that the first time.
And I was like, oh shit, we weren't supposed to see that. Somebody wasn't able to do it quite when they did. I mean, because that's got to be a really tough effect to do live.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that because I think at that point of the sketch I kind of zoned out.
Yeah, I was like, but it wasn't until the very end of the sketch that clicked into place. And then I rewatched the sketch on Peacock, and of course they fixed it for Peacock.
Right.
So,
But I mean, that would also explain why the audience didn't really react to it either.
right, because they're not seeing the pixelation.
Yeah, they were like, "What? What's happening? I don't get this."
Yeah, they're just like, oh, okay, they're wearing like a flesh colored spank thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so
yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Overall, the sketch I thought was, again, just kind of all over the place and
yeah.
sloppy. And I was like, I don't know. I mean,
Uh,
maybe Michael Longfellow's little head dance, Bob shimmy at the end saved it for
yeah,
some
I mean,
people.
it gave us a nice gift to use when you were posting about the show. Like somebody was specifically asking for that on Twitter, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Give Darren 15 minutes. He'll put it up."
As soon as I saw that, I was like, challenge accepted.
I was like, "Oh, Darren, you have to use that one now."
It's like, all right.
Yeah, I wasn't too nuts about it as a sketch, but they did mention my last name in the first 5 seconds, so 5 stars.
Oh, John, you're so easily won over.
I'm an easy mark. It appealed to my ego.
What's that? A sketch that has Superman in it? 5 stars.
Look. They were really. I feel like they were really playing to me this week. They were like, we we're gonna have Cicely's dog in the opening. We're gonna mention your name. We're gonna mention Batman. Cicely's gonna flash the camera during a sketch. Okay, SNL. Message received.
Can we get REM into a sketch somehow?
Can we get REM? Can we bring Elvis Costello in?
This, this is going to be John Trumbull's Christmas gift.
Can we have more women that John has crushes on?
Yes. Can we get Rachel Bloom or whoever?
Yeah, sure.
Oh boy.
I just rewatched. I just watched Reboot finally this week.
Oh yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah, I've seen like only the first few episodes. Like it's okay, but yeah,
It's all right. It's all right. I'm not loving it, but it's pretty good.
all right.
So yeah, that was my quick Reboot
Ooh,
review from Hulu.
reboot talk with John Trumbull.
Reboot talk with John and Darren.
Yeah.
All right, now just a couple more sketches to go. Next is Big Penis Therapy.
Hey.
Good sketch name. Co-written by Michael Che and Gary Richardson.
Yeah. So this one is basically a game night with Amy Schumer and her.
And Uno.
Oh, playing Uno, yes, with Schumer.
I haven't played Uno in forever.
It's been a minute. I think the last time I played Uno was probably like at day camp or I think I was like a counselor at camp or something like that. But it's.
We need to get together. We need to have a game night. We'll both try some matzo ball soup and we'll play some Uno.
This needs to happen now.
This needs to happen.
This needs to happen. But yeah, as far as this sketch goes, we got Sarah Sherman, we got Ego, we got Amy, we got Dismukes.
Dismukes.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes out Dismukes he's talking about how he's been in therapy and it's like made a difference, like in his behavior. Like the friends notice the difference, and it kind of comes out that he's taking a thing called big penis therapy, and that's the way that Amy's tricked him into going into therapy.
Right. He's like, oh yeah, like I was always against therapy, but then I found out about big penis therapy, where you talk about your emotions and your feelings, and it's all for people with big penises. And
Yeah,
it's like, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, overall, I like the concept of this sketch, like
I like how out there and bizarre the concept was.
yeah, I,
Yeah,
I feel like
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I was all right. It's the sort of weird stuff that you want at 10 to 1. You know?
yeah, like I liked what they were trying to say about like how some guys are so adverse to something like therapy unless you
Right.
call it like big penis therapy. So they have to be like, oh no,
Yeah.
it's for people with big penises. This type of
Because
therapy.
they're so caught up in macho bullshit stuff.
Right, exactly. And then and then as the sketch goes on, we find out he's actually been healthier because Amy Schumer has him on a fat rod vegan dinner plan, and he goes to
Yeah.
Long Dong Church. So he has to, like, in order to improve him, you have to
Yeah.
say it's for people with big penises. I think that's a good idea, but I think the sketch, like, I think I like the sketch, but I think I was like maybe one or two rewrites away from really liking this sketch.
I like this sketch. I still want to see other comedy sketches. I'm
Yes.
not ready to be exclusive with this sketch.
I like this sketch, but I love this sketch, but I'm not in love with this sketch.
Right. I want to see other comedy sketches made for people with big penises.
Exactly. Like I like the relationship I have with this sketch. Let's not mess with what we have. Let's see others.
That's right. I don't want to ruin my friendship with SNL by
Oh boy, yeah. A lot of these things we're saying, people are coming from some real life experiences we've had.
yeah.
Uh,
So I mean, it was fine. It was cute.
yeah,
I thought it was performed well.
of course, it ended with Dismukes destroying something, flipping over a table.
Flipping over the table, just flipping the table off like the metal legs, which was that was kind of weird, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's not a Dismukes sketch until something gets trashed.
I guess and that's become a thing with him apparently. So all right.
That's his mo.
All right. Well, and then lastly we have Big Dumb Hat. This was written by Alison Gates and Kent Sublette. And we had Amy, Heidi, and Chloe,
Right.
and they're all just women with really huge hats, and that is the entire joke.
Right. I mean, it's basically playing off the trope of you see like maybe women on Instagram who have long hair and they have the big comfy sweaters and they're into pumpkin spice lattes and whatnot, and they all have that sort of stereotypical big, like almost Canadian Mountie, Pharrell Williams type hat.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it's kind
The
of
kind of hat you're wearing like an Easter Sunday or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, and that's kind of become a thing now where all these kind of earthy hippie, well-off white women wear these
yeah. Karens.
yeah, like they wear these big hats, and they come in different colors, like tan, and that's it.
Yeah, I did like that line. I got heavy whiskers are we vibes from this sketch.
Yeah, I could see that. It's like that, like the old Kate and 80 type of sketches where,
Yeah, which I think Allison Gates was one of the writers on, if I remember correctly.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it just a lot of women addressing the camera and like, here's this weird thing, and yeah, I thought this was a real weekend to the night,
It had its
honestly.
moments. I thought, at one point, Heidi pulls out a small Starbucks cup out of her hat. Um, I kind of like
Yeah,
the part where Amy Schumer leaves frame and comes back in with an even bigger hat. Like the brim of her hat gets bigger and
yeah,
bigger throughout the entire sketch, to the point where I think at one point it's like the size like a wagon wheel or something. Like she
yeah.
almost hits Heidi in the head with it.
I kind of felt like Krusty the Clown during that Simpsons episode. I was just like, we get it. They have big hats.
Yeah.
There was some early episode of The Simpsons where Krusty was hosting like an SNL type of thing, and they did. It seemed like a parody of like a hacky SNL sketch to me. So this one didn't really work
Oh
for me much
yeah.
at all.
I guess so. But yeah, I mean, I get that they were making fun of a certain type of white woman, Like, how the type of women that says where their boyfriends say, "Hey, it's either me or the hat."
Hmm.
Marcelo came in with the big dumb hat, but that doesn't really work because when the guy wears it, it's kind of creepy. He come in and is like,
Yeah.
"Hey, ladies, let's get vulnerable." And they're like, "No." It I don't know. It didn't. I think like for me, it didn't totally work for me, but it worked enough that I liked it. I'd say
It was a thing that existed.
absolutely
I will acknowledge that.
perfect. Maybe if it took place in Trumbull County, you'd love it.
I would like it more. So yeah, so that was the end of the the show. I'll give Amy Schumer a little shout out because she did wear a Love Jews tee during the good nights,
Yeah,
which I thought that was really nice.
thought that was great.
Yeah, so because a lot of anti-Semitism out there in the last few weeks for.
Yeah, we seem to be going backwards in time, people.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like what what Cecily was saying during her update piece, where she was like, "I'm going to back up my chair 50 years," and beep beep
Yeah,
beep. And I was like, "Really? It's only 50?" But
gonna go.
I guess she was counting back to around the time that Roe v. Wade became the law of the land.
Yeah, oof,
So, but good
gonna
God,
go
it's like
back.
they don't even want to take us back to the 50s. They want to take us back to like the idea of the 1950s, which never actually really existed outside of like Father Knows Best.
Yeah,
But
it's really oh you go. It's it
so I don't know. It was a very mixed show for me overall.
yeah, like highs and lows, ebbs and flows. I mean, I know that
Yeah,
pretty much happens a lot in every episode, but y-
yeah, true. I mean, I, I've said before, I don't think it's a realistic expectation to expect uh, an episode of SNL to be good all the way through. It's just by its nature, it's going to go up and down.
yeah,
Um,
uh,
Best was definitely the COVID commercial. The jurors kind of grew on me. Pink's period underwear, I thought was pretty good.
yeah. Jurors, I thought was okay. Yeah, but I agree with you. The COVID was the
Yeah,
highlight of the night.
and my name was mentioned, and I got to see Wally on camera. So points for that.
Absolutely, not too shabby.
So this was probably like a C episode, I'd guess.
Yeah, I would say it. Like I think. I mean, it seems like maybe they're still trying to find their footing. They're still trying to find their rhythm a little bit. Like after so many cast members left earlier in the season. So I mean, I know we're up to episode 5 right now. So by now they
Yeah,
kind of should have found their footing a little bit, but I guess they're still
they
having.
should be in a groove by now,
Yeah,
and I feel like they're still like struggling a little bit,
they
which
are.
is yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what next week holds now that we got this wild card coming in, Mr. Chappelle. But oh boy,
Yeah, I mean, we talked all about that early
yeah,
on, so yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think whatever happens, people are going to be talking about it,
yeah, and that's what SNL
bad or
wants.
good,
Yeah,
and there's probably going to be and that's probably half the reason he was booked.
absolutely. Um, let's go to
So
our. Well, I
yeah, we'll
mean,
see.
we put out the word out on the Twitter sphere about this.
Yeah, let's see what people had to say, because this was yeah.
Yeah, well, we got our good friend Boardman gets paid, not played.
Hmm.
Lee Hot He Lion saying,
Hmm.
"Hello from free Twitter for now." So, ooh,
Yeah,
ooh,
we'll see what happens, man.
yeah. So I generally liked every episode, at least the episodes where I know who the host is. That's not Kim or Elon Musk. But this episode really showed you the difference between a comedian and a performer, and the sketches were all right. But the fact of the matter that she brought so much energy brought it up to good. But I'm really just counting down till Mr. Chappelle hosts next week. Love you guys. Peace sign, peace sign, peace sign. Oh, and I'm gonna use
Oh,
COVID to try to get off work this week. I'll see how it goes.
well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've tweeted about it, so obviously it's a foolproof
Yeah,
plan.
you
So,
kind of you kind of spilled the beans there, buddy.
yeah, yeah.
Uh
You know what? Okay, what's the most absurd thing you took off work for?
uh hmm.
Because I have an answer.
I think
And I could tell my story real fast while you think about
no,
it.
I probably took off movie. I probably took off work to see a movie,
Okay,
like a
okay.
movie
I
coming out.
once took off from work early so I could head into the city to go to a taping of Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, but I knew I was working for a place that I knew probably wouldn't just let me go if I just said that. So I just said, I just told them I had a doctor's appointment. Because you can't really say no to that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so, I took off from work, I think at about like 2 in the afternoon so I could get into the city in time for like the 4:30 taping, whatever it was. And,
Who was on? Do you remember?
and then I ended up on camera in the audience that night.
Dude, I was just about to make a joke about that.
They had a shot of the audience, and I was like towards the front, and they had a shot. I remember like Jimmy Fallon was a guest star
Oh, that's great.
on that. He'd just come out with his comedy album Idiot Boyfriend,
Uh,
and he sang like the song. So if there is a video of that on YouTube or something, you will see me in the audience. And I of course I realized I ended up on camera, and I was like, I pray that none of my bosses watch Conan O'Brien tonight.
oh my god, what are the odds your boss is like a huge Jimmy Fallon fan? And so
Yeah, yeah. So that's that could have backfired on me.
yee.
I never heard anything about it, so I guess I got away with it. But I'm out of myself now.
All right. Boy.
All right, let's see what else do people have to say. Our friend Mikey with 2 E's. He said he's sort of responding to what we commented on last week. I think he used a British spelling in one of his tweets to us,
All right.
and I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, are you British?" Like, I think he maybe spelled behavior with a OU, or he put an extra E at the end or something like something that is British spelling.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey guys, you are correct. I am indeed 100% born, bred, and currently embarrassed to be British."
Hello, hello.
Hello, governor.
Hello.
Um, Another decent episode. Although this may be an unpopular opinion, I still think the Jack Harlow episode had more laughs for me.
Hmm.
Definitely could feel a lot of Amy's material in this one, and I thought she did a great job as usual. Didn't love the cold open, but the monologue was decent, and most of the live sketches were solid also. COVID pre tape was probably the highlight for me, and Weekend Update was good as it usually is. Good overall, but not great.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
agree with that.
so, okay, I'm very interested because, now we know Mikey's British. Are you living in the U.S., though?
Yeah,
Because
and more importantly, are you offended every time I do like my little British accent? Because I think I'm nailing it. Let me know if I'm nailing it or not. That's more important.
you're Oliver
Yeah,
Twist, please, sir, can I have some more?
because like all think when I talk like this, I'm quite nailing it, ain't I? As I'm doing all right. Yeah.
You, Darren, you sound like Michael Caine with Down syndrome.
Oh Jesus Christ! Damn it! I thought I nailed it. Hey, what's he on about then? What's all this in?
But yeah, Mikey, yeah, let us know. I'm very curious. Like, are you in the UK and you're watching the show somehow? Because then with the time differential, you'd be watching it at a weird time.
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming you got to be living in the US somewhere. Because I mean, we know that there are people in Canada who watch Saturday Night Live, like our friend John Schneider.
Hmm.
So I guess you're an expat or
Yeah.
something.
Let
So
us know.
I'm just very curious about that. If you don't want to reveal, that's fine. But
Yeah. Let us know, man. Let us know, mate.
yeah,
Let us know, bruv. Where you at there? What?
what are you trying to do? Sex Pistols
I
now?
I think so. I sound like Sid Vicious now. Yeah. Like I'm all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, what else we have? Our friend John, why am I still here? Ananias, he's at Burton esque 92, at least for now. Says, even with a couple sketches that weren't 100% there or kind of lost the plot, this feels like the best episode of the season so far to me. What do you know? It's better to have a host who has a comic identity and knows the 8H ropes, and Schumer was utilized very well.
I'd agree with that. Like she seemed to be pretty comfortable on as a host because she's done it so before, so
Yeah,
she didn't seem as nervous and kind of out of place as
she
maybe.
did seem very at ease there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because she has a background in sketch comedy. She's been at SNL twice before, so she knows the deal. She knows where everything is.
She knows the ropes.
She knows where the bathroom is when you have to, dash off if your Pink's period underwear is
That's
failing or
right. She
something.
knows where the good bathrooms are.
She probably does. Yeah. Um. So
Yeah.
yeah. I would still put the Brendan Gleeson episode above that.
Yeah, same.
If for no other reason because it had a "Please Don't Destroy" short, and I really missed "Please Don't Destroy" shorts the last couple weeks.
I mean, we've gotten that one, and then we got that other one.
Right, and they're still writing sketches like the Jurors sketch,
Right.
but I miss their voices on the show. I've come to expect and really appreciate that now. So
Absolutely. And well, we also have from Manette Marati saying, "I feel bad for Devin not showing up at all of this episode," and then Curly Joe corrects and said that he was in the court sketch of the bailiff. But yeah, we're not seeing that much Devin Walker much in these episodes. He's like sort of becoming like the new Aristotle a little bit.
well, I mean, it might be a little early to say that because it's only fifth show of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hasn't had much since his death segment and update. I do feel like the overall show is doing a decent job of integrating the new people, the new featured players into the show.
Yeah. I see Marcello quite a bit, and
Marcelo's popping up a fair amount. Michael Longfellow had a good showcase with the what was that sketch called? The new sketch, the
WKL LMNOP,
WKTVN,
the John Trumbull sketch.
the John Trumbull sketch, exactly.
Let's just call it that.
The John Trumbull ego boost sketch. So, and lastly, our friends at the Saturday Night High podcast are just very happy that you posted the gif of Michael Longfellow doing the little head shimmy thing.
Yeah, it's a funny little head shimmy. I'll give it that.
It is. It just says, "It's here." Oh my God, that shimmy is everything and then some. So we made somebody really happy.
Yay, we made you happy. So that's it. And that's our episode, guys.
That's pretty much it. That's all we have to say. We are still on the Twitter for now at SNL Nerd Show. We don't think that's changing. I'm still on Twitter at Trumbull Comic.
I'm still on Twitter at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible, Twitter and Instagram. And hey, if you're in the northern New Jersey area, if you're in like the Montclair, Essex County area, why don't you come by this Thursday and watch me do my comedy thing? Because I'm bringing up the non-productive comedy shows coming back, making a grand return. So come through. I'll probably retweet it out on my Twitters and the like. So
where is that happening? I don't think you mentioned the venue.
Oh shit, that's right. At Just Jake's in Montclair, New Jersey.
Just Jake's in Montclair.
This Thursday at 8:00.
Good venue. It's in the back room there. You'll see a lot of good comics. I think our friends Natty Bumpercar and Molly Sperderdo are both going to be there.
Right. Frank Kablawi might be there. The mighty Frank Kablawi, the Lorne Michaels of this podcast. You'll be able to see him.
Frank Kablawi.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll be able to see him.
And I thought I might. I'm not going to be performing, but I think I might try and show up just to catch the show and just hang out. So if you see either one of us there, say hi.
Yeah, say hi.
We don't get to meet many of our listeners face to face ever, so that would be a kick.
Yes, absolutely. That would be a coup, as they say.
That would be the bomb.
Yeah.
And so check that out. That's happening this coming Thursday, the 10th, after we know how the elections turn out. And please go out and vote. We've said it before. Please go out and vote.
It's very important. It's super.
Save our democracy. And if you've already voted with early voting and all that,
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. There's something else I guess I'm gonna mention.
Okay.
So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I've had a very tough time of it this year, financially. I've been out of work for quite a while. I haven't had like a regular day job in over a year, since like February of last year. So as you might expect, I've been struggling quite a bit. don't have any family in the area, don't, my options are limited. I've been doing the odd jobs here and there, freelance stuff and all that, but I can still use some help. And I've gotten behind on my rent, and it's still extremely possible I may get evicted. So, to that end, I've started up a GoFundMe. If you just do a search on GoFundMe, and it's please help John Trumbull avoid eviction, or just help John Trumbull avoid eviction. I'm still kind of short of my goal. I've been able to catch up a bit, but it's kind of an all or nothing thing. And I've lived in the place I've lived for 19 years. I really don't want to be homeless.
Wow.
So, I've been dealing with this behind the scenes for all the time. Didn't really want to bring it onto the podcast, but I feel like I'm probably at the point where I should. So, if you listen to this, if I have ever entertained you at all for the last 4 years we've been doing this, and if you're able to, go on, contribute what you can, whatever amount you would not miss. $5, $10, $20. I know from experience it adds up. So if you can do that, that would really help me out. Hey, I'm looking for all the jobs I can. I apply for stuff every freaking day. I'm working like a part-time temp job right now, but it's not enough. So I need some help, and I got to swallow my pride. So that's where I am right now. So if you can do that, I would appreciate it. We'll post the link from the Twitter account, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can also just go to my personal Twitter at Trumbull Comic.
Right.
TRUMBULL and the word comic.
Yeah. All right.
And find the link there.
Yeah. So, guys, just do whatever you can to help out an SNL nerd. And, anything you can help out or anything you can donate would be greatly appreciated.
Any amount is appreciated.
That's right.
And if you can't, signal boost.
Yes, absolutely. That's
like retweeting it. That is huge. Look, I totally get it. Things are tough all over right now. Lots of people are struggling. I am by no means alone in my problems. But yeah, if you can retweet it, I appreciate that. I think that is just as great as being able to contribute.
Absolutely.
So, signal boost if you can. Go to GoFundMe.com. Search for John Trumbull, TRUMBULL, and you'll find help John Trumbull avoid eviction. So,
okay.
All right. That's it. Sorry I had to say that. Sorry I had to kind of end the podcast on a down note.
Yeah. How do we smoothly end this podcast now?
I don't know. The beginnings are tough, and the endings can be tough too. And I've got a car honking outside. I don't know if people can hear that from my mic, but I just heard it.
Oh, well, you should really look into that.
No, it's done now. It's done.
Got it. Okay.
It's a nice place to live. I want to keep living here.
Yeah.
So if you could help me get back on my feet a little bit, it's much appreciated.
Yeah.
So next week, we'll be back with more about SNL. I'm sure we'll have lots of opinions, lots of things to have opinions about with the Dave Chappelle show, and I'll get to see Black Star and find out what they're all about.
They're good. Like, I highly recommend, if you're into 90s hip hop at all, like if you're into Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, or even if you're not, like if you're, I think their debut album is excellent. Like that's the only album they really came out with, except for this their second album, which is on Luminary, but
Luminary exclusive.
But yeah, but like their first album,
I guess that's why they passed under my radar.
Yeah, but yeah, the first album is fantastic.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. The host, though,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I still have some residual like for Chappelle. I totally get why people are down on him now.
Here's hoping this doesn't snuff that out.
Whew. It's not. Yeah. I want to be able to enjoy him.
Yes. Please let me enjoy this.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. We'll figure it all out.
We will figure it all out. Until then, rock the vote.
Rock the vote, and then until then,
Nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.